cryptocurrency that's so useful and the kidnappers and extortionists and so forth, nor do I like just shuffling out a few extra billions and billions and billions of dollars to somebody who just invented a new financial product.
Welcome. And this is Canada Startup. And that was Mr. Charle Munger this past weekend. He is the co-founder of Berkshire Hathaway, which is one of the biggest funds in America. And what he was doing was sharing his opinion about cryptocurrency. And it's been quite a controversial topic, yet I wanted to have a conversation today about new technology, about new finance. And I've got the wonderful opportunity to have Bill Wilson. Hi, Bill. How are you today?
Doing well, thanks, Dave. Great to see you.
Fantastic. And what did you think about when you heard Mr. Munger share about his views on crypto?
Well, his comment was interesting. I would have lots of questions for him. It seems that he's got the one assumption that crypto is strictly something to buy and sell. But I mean, the more I'm learning, like if you look at like Ethereum, for example, everything that you can do within Ethereum is more than just buying and selling. You know, there's the NFTs that can be done in there. You can play games in there. You can do apps in there. It's more than just something that is buy and sell. So I'm not too sure if he's got either he's really, really old school and he just doesn't want to, adjust to something new, or he doesn't have all the information yet. That's what I see in it.
He is one of the most famous investors in North America, around the world, him and Warren Buffett. He's 97 years old. So yeah. It's great that he's been able to share his wisdom, and he did a really great job sharing it. Yet he is that hammer that there's certain things about technology he never really wanted to embrace. Just to let you know, he never bought Amazon. So I'm going to move to our next guest. Hi, Jackie. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
And it's fantastic to see you, and thank you so much for joining us. Again, it's probably your first exposure to Charle, yet what he was talking about with crypto, what was your first image or feeling about it?
I'm like along the same lines as him. I don't really understand the cryptocurrency enough to really embrace it yet. But I think that, really, we've gone digital. And with the pandemic, I think it's shown us that cash is becoming less and less acceptable in a lot of places. And the same as checks. We pretty much just e-transfer everything. Everything's done on the computer now.
Fantastic. And that's why today's discussion, we're going to be bringing in some of the technology that you've had to choose to pivot and let go of the way things used to be, and starting to use the new technology, the new platforms to do trade. And then let's go to Justin, who, when I first saw it, I definitely wanted to ask your opinion about it, just because frankly, you don't use cash. You don't use checks. When you hear this wonderful, wise man speak, what's your first opinion?
Well, I think it's very similar to what Buffett and he said a couple years ago, back in 2013, 2014, when sort of, I think a similar question was asked to them. And it was honestly a surprise to me that it was basically the same answer. I think Munger clearly believes that the only people who are using Bitcoin are still, drug dealers and people committing crimes, essentially. But I just say, well, I know a lot of people now, right, especially in 2021, who are into crypto, who hold crypto. It's becoming a lot more of a public attraction. There's a lot of light being shone on it. I don't think it's just a playground for those sort of illicit activities anymore. They never really touch on sort of the technology behind it. I think for them, it's still shrouded in whatever that is. I also do think that, they, as these seasoned veterans of investing, definitely like to have that 10, 20, 30-year outlook, right? And I think that, when you have something as explosive as the crypto market has been, it's darn near impossible to have that sort of outlook. It's just too much volatility. It could be everything. It could be nothing. So was a bit surprised to hear that same angle, right? There's a lot of criticisms of crypto, but I think that one's ready to be retired.
Great, great perspective. Thank you, Justin. I really appreciate your thoughts on that. And I'm going to go around the circle again, because the next highlight was something that you've been teaching and also sharing with Bill and I for the last year, is Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency, has just recently been hitting some new highs. And in the last year, it's up 1,324%. And I know that you were an early adopter to that. And share a little bit about what's it like having a 13 bagger as a 20-year-old investing and using it to do different things in your life.
Yeah. So Ethereum sort of always been my largest bag, and I guess 8 out of the last 12 months I've been bit by it because Bitcoin's been outperforming it. But recently, yeah, you're seeing this surge hit 3,300, maybe 3,400 US over the last couple of days, really shattering any previous record that it's had. And yeah, I think a lot of it's because you've seen this crazy run in Bitcoin over the last year, and now you're starting to see the money sort of leak into the other different cryptocurrencies. I remember, so the first time we got together to talk about crypto on the Canada Startup, I mentioned a chart called the Bitcoin dominance chart, and that basically indicated what percentage of the cryptocurrency market cap, so the market capitalization, all the money that's invested in cryptocurrencies, what percentage of that is in Bitcoin. And I think when we talked about it, it was about 60%. So 60% of all money invested in crypto is invested in Bitcoin. And I proposed to you guys that as that number goes down, that means more people are investing in different things. And that's really good for these alternate coins we call altcoins. And basically, coins that might serve a much more niche purpose. So today, the Bitcoin dominance is 46.8.
Wow.
Which is the lowest since, I guess, like March of 2018, which was the last time we sort of, we had this tremendous crypto cycle. And if you went back and you had a look, you notice similar patterns where Bitcoin breaks records, and then you have these altcoins that follow behind it. I personally really liked Ethereum. It was always number 2, but it was the one that really allowed business owners, developers to really build applications on Ethereum's blockchain. Just meaning that, and I think I made this comparison last time as well, if Bitcoin was trying to be the gold of blockchain, Ethereum was trying to be the internet of blockchain. And yeah, I think as more people go into it, you have a lot more sort of retail enthusiasts, and I think that's why you're seeing Ethereum enjoy the run that it is.
Just let's give some context to our viewers, because sometimes folks might not really be involved in it. At what level did you start looking at Bitcoin, and sort of what's it at today? And similarly, at what level did you start looking and investing in Ethereum, and what level is it now, just for reference?
Yeah, unfortunately, when I started looking at it, when I actually got into it, was pretty far apart. I did start to look into it when COVID initially hit. So I guess when the lockdown started happening, so maybe March of last year, that's when you really had the lows, right? You had Bitcoin at around 3.5K, and you had ETH at about like $100. Didn't buy it then. I should have, but
3.5 to 70,000.
Yeah, I think at its highest, something like that, right? And then 100 to the 3.4K for ETH. So yeah, it's been crazy.
That's 1 year.
That's 1 year.
Wow. Okay, so Bill, you're hearing this, and again, I saw you taking some notes. What's your view now of perhaps getting involved or being involved? Or again, we've looked at Ethereum being a great platform for the non-fungible tokens. having multiple usages. Justin's metaphor of being the Internet of Things, whereas he's sort of setting up so saying that Bitcoin's the gold and Ethereum's the silver. No, Ethereum is the Internet of Things. So it's a nice metaphor, Justin. What's your thought of where we go forward with some of these valuations?
I'm very curious. I'm more curious about Ethereum than Bitcoin. I'm just more interested in the fact of, being able to do the apps and games and the NFTs and contracts and everything that you can do on the Ethereum blockchain, to me seems more exciting and looks like more promising down the road. But the other one that I am curious is that what do they call it? Doge, Doge. That's the one I'm curious. So I guess what I really want to know is, there's the altcoins that you mentioned, Justin. What would be the top 5? And then what are like differentiators between the different ones? So like Bitcoin, like you said, is gold. Ethereum is the internet. But what can these other ones do? And with just like the 3 below those 2, what would they be?
Okay. Give me 1 second, because let me. I'll bring Jackie in to ask a question, Jackie. So Bill sort of let it out of the bag. Yeah. Can you guess the joke coin that is now worth more than $71 billion? And the hint is woof woof.
So that's the Doge? Is that what you say?
That is the Doge. And so let me go here and see if I can call this up, and then Justin can talk around it. So let me just see if my technology serves me. Here we go. And let's share that. There you go. So are you able to see that? No, there we go. Justin, can you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think
maybe you can talk
we have
about the top 5 and the valuation, and it'll give Bill a little bit of feedback on those top 5.
Yeah, so we have a great sort of sample here of different coins that do different things. We can even talk about number 6 and 7 even, but yeah. So I think beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum, the third one you have is Binance. This is pretty interesting because it's the token for the crypto exchange Binance. If you guys have heard of it, you can think about Coinbase. So you remember when, or very recently when Coinbase IPO'd, there was talks of it hitting $100 billion valuations. And I'd say this was the number one reason why I didn't think that it would reach $100 billion valuation, is because you have Binance Coin, which trades at a $96 billion market cap. And this sort of just enables users to really get into the Binance ecosystem, because Binance is both an exchange, but they also have their own smart chain. So think about Binance Coin as representing both an exchange like Coinbase, but also a blockchain like Ethereum. So you have this Binance, which is a hybrid of Coinbase and Ethereum, say. Dogecoin is interesting because, sort of like what many people think Bitcoin is, it doesn't really serve an underlying purpose. It was created a couple of years ago as sort of a joke. But I think this year has been sort of crazy. You've seen the GameStops in like the traditional markets, and similarly you're seeing something like Doge. One major catalyst has been a lot of Elon Musk related tweeting and social media presence. I've been reading a lot about how this sort of run up is in preparation for him appearing on SNL. I think that's happening May 9th. So if you're a Doge investor or Doge trader, that's definitely a date that you're looking at. But yeah, it's really unlike anything you've ever seen before, right? a $70 billion sort of empty coin. But then yeah, you have the next one after that would be XRP. There, and I think that's when you sort of starting to get into these individual coins that are trying to do that, have one sort of goal in mind. So XRP is trying to be that medium of exchange. They're really looking at banks. So if you guys know what SWIFT is, how banks sort of exchange money internationally, they're saying, well, you could do that with this very, very fast, highly efficient cryptocurrency, very low transaction costs. And, so that's the realm that they're working in. Tether is number 6. They're a stable coin. They're, maybe the easiest one to digest. They're just a cryptocurrency that tries to emulate the US dollar. So, 1 Tether will always equal 1 USD. And then, as you sort of go down the list, a lot of it, either tries to do similar things to Ethereum, where they're trying to be this sort of ecosystem for applications. You have other exchanges. And a lot of these cryptocurrencies just represent underlying projects of how people are trying to utilize blockchain technology.
Cool.
Great. Does that answer your question, Bill?
Yeah. No, I've been learning a bit about the other stuff like Ethereum, and then hearing all the other stuff about Doge. And I was just curious as to, does it follow for all these other altcoins and stuff like that? So very interesting to find out. And
yes, actually, Saturday Night Live this coming Saturday, Elon Musk will be there. There's a big rally. I think Doge has already gone up 100% this past week, and they're saying it might go to $1, which some people are even saying higher than $1 from its current status of about 50 cents. And so, but there's nothing behind it except for the people that are pumping and dumping. So it's something, I have a couple of friends who have made some money on it. Yet it really is, would you say it's gambling, Justin, or would you say that there's more to it than that?
I think people have really turned it into a science. It is gambling. I think, like, in essence, people try to predict when it's going to pump. I know, people have bots that are predicated around Elon Musk's tweets, right? He tweets about Dogecoin and buys, and then it sells, however much time later. But yeah, I've always tried to mull over the question of whether these sort of cryptocurrencies that, are more of a joke, again, more of a gamble, more of something that, what goes up must comes down. Is that good for the crypto ecosystem, right? Because yes, it brings a lot of new people into the market, right? A lot of people who hear about it on social media, or like you guys. I don't know how you guys have heard of it, but a lot of people who want to participate in that. So that brings a lot of people who don't, who've never been in crypto to buy their first one, and that first one happens to be Doge. So that's good. But also, again, when it dumps, those are the people who are left holding the sour taste in their mouth, right? Because they just, they were doing it for the culture, so to speak, but now they're looking at an empty portfolio. So I think there's both pros and cons with this, but as long as, people remember to only put in how much they can afford to lose, I think I'm here for the ride.
That's a good philosophy. And again, let me share that this week also, Gary Vee is going to be doing his drop with his NFTs, and he's creating a great hoopla around that. He's getting a lot of media attention, and there's going to be an element of a pump and dump with that too. And I like your risk management idea of invest what you can afford to lose. Yet it is funny because people who are these billionaires or billionaires in process, they're learning to manipulate the markets very much like perhaps a Charlie or a Mr. Warren Buffett used to have Wall Street coming to them and giving them the insider deal when no one else would do it. So that was okay, yet they were very aware of the legal ramifications. Right now, they're not in it, and maybe they are a little bit of pointing the finger. So it's interesting how things change, and that's why I wanted to bring Jackie in also, is that, Jackie, you've been running a business and you've tried different things and different relationships, different partnerships, and now you've accepted one of these philosophies that I absolutely love, is you've partnered with a multi-billion-dollar business that wants to be your partner. And for some people, that's startling, that's frightening. Yet, what are some of the things that you needed to do and continue to need to do to welcome your business partner called Shopify to come and bring technology so that your business is totally flipped on its side.
Yeah, well, I would say, I mean, we've been talking about this business for about 3 years now. We've been doing the wholesale side, and when Billy and I spoke in January and said, let's go retail, let's go online, it was scary. It was really scary because I'm not a technology person. I'm not. We learned on the typewriter, so it took a while to get used to, how are we going to start building this? One of the really cool things was we delayed our launch by about a month because I was waiting on the old school way of bringing products in, lining them up, taking a picture. And, we had a group that introduced us to Canva. And so we designed our entire website using Canva, which I never would have done. But it helped us to launch in time for Mother's Day, which we wouldn't have been able to do because the product wouldn't have arrived on time. So it would have, every day you delay a launch is another day lost in sales.
So you're doing a launch coming up for Mother's Day. What are one or two ways that people can reach out to you? They can see what you're offering and share a little bit more, because you truly have been welcoming in technology, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, and now it's Shopify. And so what would be a key mindset that allows you to let go of the way things used to be and now embracing some of this newness?
I think just having an open mind and a learning mind, that every single day that there's something to learn. I'm not an expert in all these different areas, but I have people around me who are experts. So to collaborate with them and get their advice, and never have an ego too big to be able to accept other people's advice and be able to say to them, you know what, I really need your help. Can you do this? Bill's very good at the coding side of things. I'm very good at the creative side of things. So being able to collaborate together, we've managed to get this website off the ground, and we're still learning. There's still glitches. There's still little things that we're saying, fixing every day, but just, I think, truly open mind.
Beautiful. And Bill, you're my wonderful collaborator and co-experimenter. What are one or two things, like people that are traditionally are used to doing it one way? What has been your secret sauce to experiment, to practice, to bring doodly into things, to bring technology into a world where perhaps we ought to be on the golf course retired as opposed to starting new businesses?
I think the big thing is just, like Jackie said, having an open mind and just being a lifelong learner. And then the other thing that you've really helped me with is just realizing, have fun and experiment. And, I guess the thing we get to say to our parents a lot of times, there's always the back button, right? You can always, the way I guess our generation and older was brought up is you weren't allowed to make mistakes and stuff like that. But now you can hit the back button and there's ways to correct things, and you don't have to worry about making mistakes because you learn from it. And just having that whole acceptance, that's really one of the big things that lets everything go forward for me.
And Justin, when you're hearing the new platforms like Shopify, and your focus traditionally, well, so far has been on the finance side, and combining, like, for a person who's been doing business and doing the cash transaction, everything cash, yet these days, finding ways to allow, and this is where Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, he started just recently accepting Dogecoin for his Dallas Mavericks gear. And we're going to see Gary Vee next week or this week do his non-fungible tokens with, of course, Ethereum. What would be your word of advice or guidance to an entrepreneur who's going to have gateways to get paid when they don't understand necessarily the crypto? What would be one or two things that they should be looking at to be welcoming for some of these currencies into their life?
Well, there's a lot there. Yeah, like I did hear about also like some NBA players are being paid purely in crypto now, right? I think much like with Shopify, even with things like Lightspeed, like the point of sales like systems that are really, trying to help, again, like small business owners automate a lot of that sort of nitty gritty like technical side that, when you start a business, you're not starting a business to be able to track inventory, right? Like you're doing it to want to create something. And it's great to see that a lot of companies are trying to assist with that service, and these are becoming very large, very powerful companies. I would say, similarly, try to find something that you'd use in like maybe it's like a traditional personal finance service, right? Like maybe it's your savings account. You're used to getting however many percent. You're not happy with the interest rates right now, as you shouldn't be. But I think with that similar mindset of how do I make my life easier, I think if you search for these cryptocurrencies with the objective of finding projects that could add value to your life, or at least could add value to a lot of lives, I think that's definitely one way to sort of bridge the gap between traditional business lines and services and this sort of unknown world of crypto. So like I know for me personally, like I wanted to do everything, right? Like never invest, or like I never put money into a coin that I didn't use. So like when I put money into a coin, it's like, okay, well, I can now take this coin and I can help mint more of these coins, and then that's going to pay me 100% APR interest. Or maybe it's I'm going to buy this coin, but I'm also going to buy the coin's miner. So like, for example, I recently bought a crypto miner for this coin, which I'm pretty excited about. So it's, I think the more people can associate some of these cryptos with the business behind it, or with the service that they can make a comparison to a traditional company, I think that's going to be the main thing for people to really start to open up to a lot of these services.
That's a good answer, Jess. In fact, when I was asking the question, my follow-up was, you got to consider yourself the chief financial officer. You're the CFO. You got money coming in. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to leave the dollars in the bank and get zero interest? Or are you going to do what Michael Saylor of MicroStrategies, he moved his company's $1.2 billion of reserves into Bitcoin. He has made more on his Bitcoin investment than the company's made probably in the last 10 years. Tesla is going to start welcoming people to pay by Bitcoin. They moved $1 billion and they recorded $100 million profit on their deposits for future cars. So if you're a CFO or you're a CEO and you don't have a policy right now for Bitcoin, you are becoming very close to negligent, because sitting getting 0 or 1%, whereas you could have what some of the coins that you've talked about, Justin, what type of return can you get for simply depositing your coin with them?
Yeah, like 3 digits.
Sorry,
on the lower.
What does that mean? You're talking 100% interest?
Yeah, like on some of the larger coins like Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin and then put it away, and then in a year you might have 20. You could have like between 7 to 20% more Bitcoin, and that's just from depositing it. That doesn't account for any of the capital gains that might come out of it. So, like you have these sort of traditional customer-facing financial tools like an interest-bearing account. You put money away, you don't touch it, and then they get you interest. But because now it's on the blockchain, they're able to, for example, use that to print more money, print more of the crypto, and pay you that. And it's this technology enablement and sort of this innovation that's really, hopefully trying to modernize a lot of these 100-year-old financial services.
And so this is why it's quite fascinating being a technopreneur, right, Jackie? Is that originally you were doing these beautiful gift packages and for people and working a wholesaler partnership, and now you partnering with a multi-billion-dollar business, that Shopify, who is enabling you to go all around wherever you want to go. You're doing partnerships with Canva, which was again a company started by a young Australian lady because her problem was she didn't have tools to do her yearbook for her high school, and now she has a $60 billion business because it enables anyone in the world to do design, do video, do websites, and she keeps innovating. And we're going to probably see her do an IPO in the next year. And so when we're talking about stepping forward, being aware of financial or fintech, and that's one of the things that any company these days looking at financial opportunities, arbitrage opportunities, talent opportunities is something that is pretty exciting, yet it can be scary, yet it can also be fun. My question to Jackie is, what's the process to go from scary to fun for you?
I think all the major spiritual gurus have said it over the years, is just to take an inspired action step, just one step at a time, baby steps, and the universe will start working with you. I truly do believe that. But you have to take the first step.
Well, one of the things that I'm inviting you to do, because you've got a book coming up probably in the next 1, 3, 6 months, to perhaps tap into all of these beautiful, wonderful opportunities that could be a way to get the book out virally and share that and dance with it and have some fun with it too. And that might be a fun initiative too. That I want to just share the story that last week I was talking to a dear friend of mine, Shazar, and she got involved investing in Bitcoin about 1.5 years ago. And what she's been able to do in the last year is assist our friends in Cambodia who are starting a chicken farm, because there's no money in Cambodia right now. Their economy depended on travel so much, primarily from China. And we got a dear friend, and she's been running a crowdsourcing opportunity, GoFundMe, to start a chicken farm. Well, she's been able to fund that because she got involved in crypto. And then we've also been collaborative in a shelter for 172 children in Lonavala near Mumbai. And again, because of what she did with her financial wellness and her financial literacy, she's now able to write checks and send money, actually send digital money to India to take care and provide some special food for the kids, the 172 orphans in Lonavala. So that's why it's this melding of financial awareness and then business awareness and bringing it together can truly have an impact. And that's something that is pretty exciting when we can meld it and again, trust what you just said, step by step, little steps. What would be your guiding principle or word, Bill, on stepping through the chaos and coming through with something that allows you to enjoy the process?
Well, I'm just going to relate it to hockey, like simple, the Gretzky statement, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So let's get out there and take a shot and then keep building from there.
That's great. Take your shots. And that's what you've been doing, Bill. And I'm so appreciative of the time that you put in and for us to have this Tuesday night Canada startup and sharing with people. And I really do appreciate the camaraderie and the teamwork and the fun that we're having. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's been great.
Justin, I'm going to get you to talk about this topic, 3 steps forward in altcoins, Delphi, or innovation. And you talked a little bit about becoming a miner. I attempted today to explain to your grandmother here in Canada that Justin's becoming a miner. and she was, did he buy some land? Is he got a pitchfork? And so your grandmother didn't quite get that. So could you share a little bit about what it means as a 20-year-old these days who might be becoming a miner?
No, I'm really getting my hands dirty over here. But yeah. Yeah, okay. So you touched on a couple things. I think like the first one was what are some steps for people looking to get into altcoins, or you said Delphi, but I'm assuming you mean DeFi. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd say and the way I started was, there's gonna be a lot of stuff out there, right? Like again, when you show me the list of the top couple cryptocurrencies, I was so happy it was only the first 5, because if you show me the first 20, I probably couldn't tell you what all of them did. And that's probably not the case if you pulled up the S&P 500 chart, right? There's just a lot of new stuff coming at you at 100 miles per hour. It's really hard to sort of pick one, and even harder to stick with it. So if you are someone, building a crypto portfolio, you've probably got your 25% in Bitcoin, you've probably got maybe your 25% in ETH, and then you got your 50% in whatever other things you have. Maybe it's you have an exchange, you have these different, these coins in different categories. The one that you do pick for DeFi, like if you're not then also using the DeFi services, you might have to reevaluate your choices, because then you're probably not that passionate about the underlying project. I'd say that's probably if people do have a portfolio, look through the portfolio. If you do catch yourself having a coin that you're not 100% certain what they do, and if it is a coin that offers some sort of retail service, use it. Oftentimes the services themselves are free. If it is DeFi, decentralized finance, again, I could probably go on for another hour about decentralized finance by itself, but let's take the one that I talk about a lot, which is staking. Staking is sort of it's one way of mining. It's putting coins in a pool so that those coins can validate or help to create new coins, and then you get a share of the new coins that are created. And so that's how the money supply increases in a lot of different cryptocurrencies. Since all you have to do, is you have to validate, you have to put your coins into the pool, and then you just sit there, right? So why wouldn't you use it if you believed in the project enough to own the coin? So I'd say that's definitely a next step. I'd say everyone should look up staking. I think it is the simplest one for new people to get into. It was the first one I got into. And there's like a lot of different apps, especially on the major exchanges, that just let you do it anyway. So if you do use a Binance or an FTX or I think maybe Coinbase, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't used Coinbase myself, but a lot of those let you do something like that, some sort of lending, some sort of APR bonus interest yield on your crypto. So definitely look into that. And then the thing about the miner, mining's a very interesting sort of space right now. So I mentioned staking was one way of sort of mining. Different cryptocurrencies have different ways that they bring new cryptos into existence. I think Bitcoin's gonna be the most famous one, but basically for Bitcoin, it's called proof of work. And what it is you have a bunch of these computers, and all they're doing is they're trying to solve an algorithm, right? So they use computing power to solve an algorithm, and then it's random enough that your odds that your computer is going to find it are fairly uniform. And then when you do, then it mints a new Bitcoin, and it's hard enough to do it that you have to use a lot of computing power to mint a new Bitcoin. That is the oldest. It's one that's very loud. It's one that doesn't make sense if you're doing a lot. I found one that actually uses Wi-Fi. So it uses Wi-Fi to mint new crypto. So I like that a lot. I don't have to worry about electricity costs. For the most part, like the Wi-Fi plans I've had in the past and plan on having in the future are unlimited Wi-Fi. I need a lot of Wi-Fi anyway, so I'm going to buy unlimited Wi-Fi. I might as well maximize that use. So I got one called a helium miner. I think that one's really good for sort of, if you're just planning to have one in your house. It's not that loud. It's very small. It's a good time. A lot of people made a lot of money. A lot of people made a lot of money mining Ethereum this year. But I wouldn't recommend that, because Ethereum's changing how their mining system works. And, that sort of like transaction fees that they can collect are uncertain once Ethereum sort of upgrades itself. I won't go into that at all, but yeah, that's that's just my thought dump on those things.
Thank you very much, Justin. And I believe what I've just heard from Bill, and I've heard from Jackie, and I've heard from you is it's really important to like what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, be curious what you're doing, and finding a way to experiment with some new projects. So I imagine, Jackie, you spent a few hours on Canva, and I know Bill spent a few hours on Doodly, and that time that you're researching, you're studying, you're practicing is so important. And so as a risk management thing, I'm not telling people to go out and spend all your money on Bitcoins. No, yet if you start with 1% and maybe grow to 5% exposure in the next year, you allow yourself to have some skin in the game, some practice on the court, some time on the field. And that's what will allow you to perhaps find a joy and a passion and something that will really contribute some value. I just wanted to summarize some couple of ways to potentially invest. It's Canada right now. We have something called a BTCC. It's a fund that allows you to buy Bitcoin. Bill and I have been looking at GBTC, which is Graystroke. It's a type of fund, again, holding Bitcoin. Or you could start investing in a miner, which is different than the miners that Justin's talking about. And Justin, you moved into wallets where you have a number of wallets. What would be the most one or two of the popular wallets here in Canada that somebody can download as an app and maybe get started?
Okay, two most popular wallets, MetaMask and Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is on your phone, so you can download it like any other app. And I'd recommend for new people to try out Trust Wallet because it also works as an exchange. You can sort of open a lot of different apps, like a lot of different crypto apps on the app, on the Trust Wallet itself. It does make it really easy for people who want to sort of, search around, buy a whole bunch of stuff, and just for the sake of it. Exchanges, if you're in Canada, I like BitBuy. I know you've had a little bit of difficulty using BitBuy, but I still think getting your Canadian dollar to crypto, that will be the best one, the easiest one, and the one that takes the smallest fee out of your pie. But yeah, I think and I think I've said it before as well, but have at least one wallet and have at least one exchange. And I think that's a good start.
And just one of the things that we've done also is we've talked about Wealthsimple as a platform that allows people to make the bridge into making their first investment. I took my 82-year-old mother through the process. She now has a nice little portfolio on Wealthsimple. She looks at it. She likes getting her $3.50 a month in dividends, and it's no charge, and it's fun. You can then invest in some Ethereum or Bitcoin, which gives you something to do on weekends when the markets are shut. You can be trading them because they're very active on the weekends. So it's a playful way to educate, to learn, and I believe that might be one of the key qualities to grow and to learn and to age with some happiness and some joy when you're continually learning. With that, Jackie, we'll bring it to a close, but any question that you might have or final invitation to people to check out your site for the weekend?
Yeah. I'd love for you to check out our site, inspiredgiftbaskets.ca. But I do have a question for Justin. What advice would you give to a small business owner not ready to make a large risk, but willing to toy with the idea of accepting cryptocurrency as a payment type?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. And I'm not, I myself am not a small business owner, but I would say the first thing to do is to definitely see what's out there. Maybe there's a platform that specializes in that sort of thing. If not, then what's likely going to happen is you're going to set up an address, and people are going to send the crypto to that address. and that's just like you having like a PayPal, right? And you say,
okay.
please send the money to this PayPal account. Basically, it's similar to that. If you're doing that, then you just I think if someone's willing to pay in cryptocurrency, just giving them your public wallet address is enough. But I think on your end, if you are the small business owner, you also have the decision to make of which cryptocurrency am I going to accept. And I know we talked about a couple different ones today, right? But I'd say you just want to make sure that the transaction costs are pretty low. So the cost of actually moving that the payment into your account, it's one that's a currency that's a low one. So you're probably not looking at Ethereum right now, for example, but maybe you're looking at Tether, which is USDT, which is one that we touched on a little earlier, the one that's pegged 1-to-1 to the US dollar. That one's good. It protects you. It protects you from the volatility of the crypto market. You don't want to make a $100 sale and then check your account in a couple of days and realize that the crypto that was transacted to you is down 15%, right? So that's how I paid for my miner. I paid for it in USDT. So I'd recommend, I think that would be the first one I definitely recommend checking out. And then maybe down the line, you'd experiment with other sort of these low transaction fee coins, especially if you're someone who is pretty excited about the coin and would rather accumulate sort of a balance sheet that's partly denominated in that coin. So that might be your Bitcoin, right?
Great question. Great answer.
Thank you very much.
For sure.
Bill, as we bring it to a close, any question or any last thoughts?
All that just transpired there, I took up all the questions that I had written down tonight. So that was awesome. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Jackie. That was very good.
Justin, any last words or any last thoughts? Or maybe if people are interested, maybe they would like a virtual CFO to deal with their finances, and perhaps do you want anyone to reach out to you, or are you not receiving any invitations?
I'm always happy to answer questions and sort of get people started. The more people in the space, the better. The more people to use my referral codes, the better at the end of the day. So, but yeah, always happy to just, answer any questions to people looking to get started, just to make sure that they're going down the right path and not, again, you don't want people to go into crypto for a month, find out that they made some catastrophic mistake, and then, label it a scam and then never touch it again. So anything that I can do to prevent that, happy to do so.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. This has been an amazing chat. I really some nice energy here today, nice wisdom. I really appreciate it. Please put your contact details in the comments on Facebook, and if there's any other questions or follow-up, we'll see if some people might want to connect and maybe be part of a future Canada startup, or check us out on YouTube also, Continual Shift. Instagram is Continual Shift. Jackie, do you have an Instagram that you might want to share with people today?
I do. I have inspiredgifts_.
Very good. And we'll put those in the comments also. Thank you very much, everybody. You have an absolutely great, fantastic Mother's Day ahead. Justin, don't forget to contact your mom and your grandma and all your wonderful people in your life. And wishing everybody a brilliant May, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks again, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Bye, guys.